It's Saturday night tea time in 1977 all over again.
Hi everyone, TARDIS Guy 123 here, and today I am going to be reviewing Requiem for the Rocket Men. This is a fourth Doctor adventure, of course featuring Tom Baker as Rhys Jameson as the Doctor and Leela, and it does of course also feature the Rocket Men. This is their first full cast audio story. They did previously feature in two companion chronicles. That was The Rocket Men, which was read by William Russell as Ian, and then Return of the Rocket Men, which was read by Peter Purvis as Stephen. And now we get Requiem for the Rocket Men, which is sort of like told from Leela's perspective in a lot of ways. It's very much about her character, like those two companion chronicles were about the characters that read them. So it's very much her asking the question, when do you know? But it's not just that, it's got loads of other great stuff going on as well in it, and of course it also features Geoffrey Beevers as the Master, as well as John Leeson as K9. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff going on in this, so let's take a look at what we have here. We've got wonderful cover here with Leela right there and the Doctor to the right of her. You've got one of the Rocket Men themselves right there. I don't think that's any Rocket Man in particular, I think that's just a random Rocket Man. And you've got that very 60s or 50s sci-fi blaster in your hand there. Not sure if you can make that out too well, but it is there. And down there we have a spaceship as well, presumably a Rocket Man spaceship. And you've got a nice little box here, nice little effect, so let's drop that there. Now, switching it over to the side here, you have the fourth Doctor logo there, Doctor Who Requiem for the Rocket Men. It is 4.3, so the third release of this year from the fourth Doctor Adventures. And up here you've of course got written by John Dorney, directed by Nicholas Briggs, and John Dorney was of course the creator of the Rocket Men. He was the one who wrote the original Rocket Men story, then handed the reins over to Matt Fisson, I believe, for the second one, but now has returned to his creation for its third outing. And down there you have the cast of course, and you've also got all that stuff there. Opening it up now, we have the disc right in there and the booklet there as well. If I just take the disc out quickly, you can see the yellow fourth book adventures there. And even though it is one disc with part 1 and 2 on it, it is quite a long one actually. I think it's about 75 minutes in total, so that's quite good. You get a good amount for your money there. And in fact, it's so long that they did have to cut off some of the special features actually. So you have to get them as an extended download like you did for the what's it called, the Widow's Assassin. That was it. That release had to put the extras on separately because there's just no room left on the disc for them. So that's very much the case going on here, and as you can see before you have writer's notes by John Dorney there, and credits, production credits along there and whatnot. And of course the writer's notes seem to be disappearing slowly but surely from Big Finish, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure whether they're in the later fourth Doctor Adventures releases. They might have got rid of them by the time they got to Suburban Hell or something, but thankfully they are here for Requiem for the Rocket Men. And now let's talk about this story. What did I think of Requiem for the Rocket Men? I think it's a very interesting take on a Master story for starters. It's very interesting to have the Master show up somewhere and suddenly the Doctor's the one with the plan, and you know, the Master sort of having to unravel that plan in a lot of ways. That's lots of fun. And then also you get the Master sort of like meeting up with him for the first time. Usually when you see the Master in a story, he's already met up with his allies or whatever, and you know, he's got those allies now, he's going about with them, causing havoc and setting traps for the Doctor and whatnot. But here you get to see sort of like the meeting with those allies and how the Doctor's trying to interrupt that, and you know, that's very interesting. And it's almost the fourth Doctor doing a seventh Doctor in a lot of ways. So the seventh Doctor is very much manipulating people and whatnot, planning things. And the fourth Doctor is very much a different Doctor, where he does sort of like things on the fly and whatnot. Doesn't really know what he's doing as such. But here, you know, he does in a lot of ways, and you sort of like see very much strong intelligence there, and it's also sort of like expanding on what we saw in the Invasion of Time in a lot of ways, because obviously the Invasion of Time is quite a flawed story, although it does have its moments. And one of those things is of course the Doctor sort of like manipulating the villains and whatnot, and being very devious in a lot of ways, and we get to see that once again here from the Fourth Doctor, and it's very wonderful. But at the same time, he's still obviously got his Fourth Doctor warmth and his Fourth Doctor wit, and that's very much shown in conversations with K9 throughout this. And that's all very fun as well. And then you get Leela, who sort of like gets an interesting relationship with this Rocket Man character called Marshall. I was just about to turn it over, but then I remembered his name. And he's quite a fun character, and it's nice to see their interaction there. And they've sort of like got a bit of a kindred spirit going on. And Leela is sort of like reminded of herself when she was younger when she sees Marshall. So that's quite an interesting way to go with that. Although at the same time, Marshall is a very likeable character and works very well with Leela, I will say. And they sort of like go off on one strand of the story while the Doctor goes off on another strand, sort of like with the Master and K9, of course. And then they, of course, all meet up at the end for the big showdown. And very much the Master's role in this is very much setting up for the next story, which is Deathmatch. So while they are two standalone releases, they are very much interlinked in a way. So not sort of like a traditional four-part story. It is very much a two-parter and a two-parter, separate but interlinked. A bit like, I would say, I'd compare it to The Keeper of Traken and Legopolis, I guess, although a bit better linked than those two were. But nevertheless, that is the way it ends up going with these two releases. And you know, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how Deathmatch turns out. I haven't actually got it, but I'm just speaking from my experience with this release as to the link between those two, and also from what I've heard from other people. So yeah, that'd be quite interesting to see how that plays out. And then also in this release we of course have K9, who's having a lot of fun in this release, I will say. It's very interesting to see sort of like these things from different perspectives and whatnot, and also from sort of like the Master's perspective in a lot of ways as well. Although of course we know things that the Master doesn't, such as the Master knows about K9, and of course how can John Dorney resist putting those lines about Master in there as well, because obviously K9 refers to the Doctor as his Master and whatnot, and then you've got a character literally called the Master. So of course you've got the Master thing in there as well, which is very amusing and a bit annoying to the Doctor himself. So that's all very well and good. That's a very fun side to the story, but it does have a lot of seriousness going on as well. And there are some quite heavy topics going on in there. Of course, with the Doctor manipulating things, there sort of like has to be. But at the same time, that's very much followed on with the Leela plot point and whatnot. And that sort of like takes some dark turns, I will say, in a lot of ways. But also, it's very much a swashbuckling adventure at the same time with the Rocket Man, of course. You've got jetpacks going on. Everyone gets to don a jetpack, including K9. You sort of like get to fly around and whatnot. That's all very fun, and you know, sort of like having those battles in space and whatnot. It is very much a swashbuckling adventure in that sense as well, and you know, it's very interesting just to see that all play out, and with some wonderful characters as well, such as the Rocketmen King Shandar, who is a fairly interesting character, rather I don't know, I guess you could call him a bit of an idiot in a lot of ways. It's sort of like the way it ends up being when they're paired up with the Master. They sort of like aren't as good as they could have been on their own, unfortunately. And there's sort of like a wonderful double act between those two. But at the same time, you feel he's a bit, well, of an idiot, I guess. And while he may be capable, you just don't think he could be a really good king of these people. Whereas he could just be a normal underling leader, sort of like a leader of a group of them. But sort of like the overall leader, yeah, I'm not sure if that really works, if his character really works in that position, unfortunately. But the Queen does work quite well, although she's a bit sort of like subservient to the King, of course, and that ends up being a bit unfortunate in her character, but nevertheless she is a fairly interesting character throughout. And then, you know, overall, the Rocketmen themselves, while you do have characters who are Rocketmen, you don't actually get full-on Rocketmen action until right at the end of the story. It sort of like builds up to that. So that's all very nice. And throughout the twists and turns, it always turns out that the Doctor is in control, and that's very nice as well. So it's a very interesting take on the Fourth Doctor story, and a very interesting take on the Master story as well. I'm looking forward to seeing where the story goes in Deathmatch, because there was a very interesting cliffhanger at the end of this, and a very interesting turn of events in terms of Leela's character as well. So that's very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that's resolved in Deathmatch, of course. So then, well, I think it's now time to rate this story. I've praised it enough. I have pointed out some of its flaws as well, such as the character of Shandar and whatnot, and, you know, overall I will give it a 9 out of 10. It is a very enjoyable story, very well written by John Dorney, a lot of fun, quite a long story as well, so you are getting your money's worth with this one. And overall, yes, Requiem for the Rocket Man is a solid story, really enjoyable one, with some interesting plot twists as well, and an interesting take on the master story, of course. So then, those are my thoughts on this story. I would recommend picking it up, definitely. And yes, that's all I've got to say for now. So then, thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you all next time. And coming up soon will be the review of Jago and Lightfoot, of course, and I think before that will be the Death to the Daleks review, so I hope you're all looking forward to that, and I will see you all then. Bye, everyone.
To the Doctor, nothing is impossible.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Failing to stop you, I seem to find that an impossibility too.
Two of the greatest criminal minds the galaxy's seen trying to outplay each other.
Sorry.
Fantastic.
This probably doesn't look very good.
It hardly seems worthy.